Have you ever thought about how good girl conditioning can completely ruin your life? I mean, I know that sounds a little dramatic, but it's really true when you think about it. Because as I look back on my life, I have seen the ways that good girl conditioning has affected every single choice that I have made. So let's talk about this for a minute. Good girl conditioning basically forces us to behave in a certain way that is okay for other people, right? So you want to be polite, you want to be liked, you want to be nice, you want to be all these things. Well, the next thing you'll do is you'll abandon yourself just to do those things. So somebody says something, you don't like what they said. It violates your boundaries, but you've got to stick with that good girl conditioning so you don't say anything. You self-abandon. Well, then it goes further than that. The more you abandon yourself, the less you trust yourself because you don't even have your own back. Then the next thing that happens is you don't trust yourself, so now you don't trust your own intuition. That intuitive voice, it's kind of not even there. So now you make decisions based on something else, not your intuition. And more than likely, the decisions are going to be made out of fear because that's going to be the voice that speaks out louder than your intuition. So now here's a question. How do you know the difference between that fear voice and the voice of intuition? The big thing is fear will incite a certain reaction within your body. Usually there's a little heart racing, there's a little stomach churning, there's that anxiety feeling. It feels differently in your body. But to actually know and understand that, you have to be in your body to really feel it. Intuition, on the other hand, comes from a completely different place. It comes from that quiet voice within you. It's like a steady ship sailing in the night. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's calm. And therefore, you don't feel all those feelings in your body like you do with fear. So this is something that takes some practice. But the more you speak up for yourself, the more you use your voice, the less likely you are to self-abandon. Now you start to trust yourself because now you have your own back. And from there, that voice of your own intuition starts to get louder and stronger. And it gets to that point where that intuitive voice, it gets louder and stronger. And then that fear voice, you can barely hear it. For me, I can trace that fear voice back into my childhood. I was always afraid of disappointing my parents, and so I always fell into the trap of what I should do. And every time I did that, I abandoned myself, leading to this cascade of feelings and situations that led me to hear my fear voice much more strongly than anything else. It's important to remember that whatever you feed will grow. So if you tend to feed the fear, that's going to grow. If you feed your authenticity, now at that point, your intuition is going to grow. So remember to choose wisely which one you choose to feed. I'll leave you with this one last tidbit as some food for thought. Really sit with yourself and identify which voice you're hearing. Determine if it's fear or if it's intuition, and learn to differentiate the two. If you found this content helpful, please like, subscribe, and share, because of course, every time you do that, it allows this information to get to other women who may need it. And remember, often your greatest joy is on the other side of your greatest fear.